And then, last but not least, we get into the triggers and the cues and the resolutions. All right, so here's where you get the engagement and the activity. I normally have them come up, and I first speak about what cues are, or I'm sorry, triggers. Triggers are things that absolutely tick you off. You have to have a really clear definition of what a trigger is. It is not something that upsets you. For example, Jason, man, your hairline is whack.
Jesus, that's personal.
No.
Right. That may, exactly, I did it on purpose. So that may be something that bothers him.
Yeah.
And then if you say, well, Morris, your bald spots are just whack. You should spray paint them. Right?
We'll die.
That may upset me, right? That's not a trigger. A trigger is something, and I use that as because you got to be really, really careful about something that really just kind of disturbs you versus something that really tee you off, sends you over the edge. What are some of the things that just straight up, you just don't care about life no more? You don't care if you hurt somebody, you ready to go to jail. What are some of those things that really, really get on your nerve? And here it is, I put mine up there first, because I set the example. My trigger is, you do not ever, 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 never touch my kid.
Hey, I'm talking about.
So
my trigger too, boy.
I got that right there. I don't care what she do to you. I don't care what he say to you. I don't care how much he disrespect you. I don't care. You do not put your hands on my children. I'm going to jail. I'm going to prison. I'm doing whatever I need to do to ensure that you're going to feel hurt. Okay.
Ham.
Yeah, I'm going ham.
And
So
the kids in my group, I know one of the things that would be at the top of the list would have they would have nerve to say, "Don't mess with my money," you know.
that exactly. Don't mess with my money. I even had the grammar school group last year said, "Don't mess with my drugs."
Hey, for real.
Right.
Don't touch
Okay,
my blood.
so just give me some of the ones, and I use that, now you can see the difference between talking about the hairlines and the bald spots with my kids. Okay, so what are some, so that we know the difference between something that just gets us unnerved versus something that really tees us off. What else other than kids? Money, we said? Don't mess with money. Okay, so, and you have them,
My mama.
you know, you have them,
My mom.
exactly.
Same.
You know, they're gonna list,
And
Same family.
then
you know,
some
my
of them say,
family.
and then some of them say, "Don't touch me. Don't put your hands
Don't,
on me."
exactly.
Don't call me out my name.
Exactly. Don't, your hands on me. Keep your hands off me.
yourself.
Yada, yada, yada. So, as they're starting to get, you know, because they want to show you, don't, for some reason, they just love showing off. It kind of gets to a showing off point, right? But anyway, you get a nice long list. The key about the triggers is that it's not up to me, well, let's use Jason, because we used both the hair thing. It's not up to me to tell Jason what his triggers are. We all have a different trigger. So what may be a trigger to him may just make me laugh.
Right.
I may don't mind you talking about me. I've been talked about all my life. But he may be a mama's boy. He ain't never been talked about, let's say. And he's never had that before. He's probably
That's his trigger.
that's his trigger. He's about to snap. So that you got to really make that distinction between what just kind of unnerves you and what triggers you. Now, here's the big one. Here's the big one, the cues. Most of our kids know nothing or very little about themselves.
Absolutely.
They know about Beyonce, they know about Lil Wayne, they know about everybody in the world except themselves. From a standpoint of their feelings.
Yeah.
So now, the cues are all about what is happening to your body
Absolutely.
when somebody done touched your kid. What is happening in your body, in your mind, physically, when somebody done broke in your house and violated your mama. I'm not talking about, again, I'm not talking about just feeling, oh man, he talked about me. No, 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 no. We're talking about what's happening to you physically. All right? So, who listed mama?
Me.
What happens to you when someone talks about your, or hurts your mom, or violates your mom? What happens to you physically?
My demeanor is changing.
Your demeanor changes. You get what? Quiet?
No.
What happened? What happens?
I just have an expression on my face like it would be good for you to cease with this conversation.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, a trigger, you don't give a person a second chance. Like you just zone out. Not again, a trick, you gotta be really press it and beat it in their head, right? So you're saying, okay, they do it again, you're done. That's good enough of a trigger.
Just a look.
Just a look. So your look changed. You give it a look. Who remembers that from your parents? Your mother give you that look? It's a wrap.
That's why I got it from.
It's a wrap. Okay, so what about what happens to your body?
It's hot, flush.
You get hot. Yes. Now you get hot. Your heart starts palpitating,
So you know your pressure is.
beating 1,000,000 beats per minute. Your palms get sweaty. You get nervous. Some of them say they start crying.
Yeah.
Some of them say they start biting their nails.
All up their fists.
Some of them start balling up their fists. Those are cues. So now, this is really about just starting to learn about yourself. Because if you don't do something, by this point, you're in trouble.
That's right.
And now you're on the verge of losing your power. Right? So, we got the cues, you got the triggers, you got the cues. Now, here's where you lighten the moment. The resolution is simply, resolutions are things that they can think of at the moment. It cannot be, I want to go read a book. Because in the heat of the moment, when you're on 53rd and Halsted, you can't say, oh man, you just talked about my mama. I'll be right back. I'm going to go read this book.
No, I'm leaving to go read a book.
You don't get that. You don't get to pause life. And this ain't a video game. So resolutions are things that are absolutely, that you love to do. You go back to week 1 or week 2. What were some of the things that you listed that you love to do? Right? We understand that you can't pause life, but these are just the thought of it will calm you down. All right? What are some of the things that really, really, really and truly just make you happy? Just puts you in an automatic, just love state. Just
Chocolate shakes.
what?
Chocolate shakes.
Chocolate shake. You think about a chocolate shake.
Music. Yeah.
You think about music. For the same, generally speaking, you can even piggyback off of this because if this was what most dear to me, then chances are this is what I'm going to start thinking about as a resolution. You get it?
Yes.
Start thinking about my kids, man. I can't. Listen, a resolution, let's say an extreme case. And well, this is really, it's extreme for us for training purposes, but surely it's not extreme for our children. They have guns. So I use the analogy, or this particular, can you step up here for a second? Corey violated me. He said, I don't know, he went to the University of Southern California, where my daughter is at right now, and he met her and violated her.
Was she willing?
Let's just say. Oh. But let's just say. He knows, let's just say for sake of training, he knows that. He said it because he's threatened me. He knows, generally when people want to upset you, they use what they can.
Oh, I slept with your daughter.
I slept with your daughter, man. Right, okay. So he does that. My cue was, I get nervous. So I'm feeling nervous. A resolution